Would you like to just say a little bit about yourself so that the people listening to this know who you are and really why you're here to tell your story?
Yes, I'm a lady in my 50s, been married 25 years, together 30 years with 3 children. This is the story of my journey through the legal system, which resulted in my husband being in prison for 12 years for the abuse and acts he did to me during our marriage.
So can I ask, how did you come to report to the police?
After it happened in 2018, my kids told me to ring the police as I was in denial and shock. I thought, do I actually phone the police with what he's done? Was it wrong? I knew it was wrong, but it was hard because when you are with someone for such a long time, married to them and have 3 children with them and trust them, they are part of you. And for something to happen that you know is wrong, how then do you then tell someone else it's wrong? Something then came over me and I said, I have got to do this. I had to stop him from getting away with this because what he did was wrong.
Thank you for that. And how did you come to access the service and support here at Spring Lodge?
When I had reported it to the police, they came round straight away and took my first account. I don't remember a lot of what happened because I think I was in shock, and they did mention about having help. I suppose at that time I didn't quite understand what they meant, and it was only through a friend that said there is help out there for you. Having not gone through anything like this, I didn't know what help was out there and what to do. Through this friend, I found out that there are people out there and services that, oh my God, were amazing. And I can honestly say I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have those services.
How did you find that, and what did that support help you with?
At first it was very daunting. I was very scared and didn't really know what was happening. But I can honestly say coming to Spring Lodge saved my life because for me, I was a timid little girl again who is absolutely traumatised. I didn't know what to do, what to say, where to go. Having Spring Lodge help me and coming to the centre for my appointments with my allocated independent sexual violence advisor, or ISVA, was just amazing because it's a very, very long, hard journey. And I can honestly say I wouldn't have got through this without Spring Lodge.
So that sounds like the service was really invaluable to you.
Oh, definitely, 1,000,000%.
And you went through the whole legal process with that support and the police officer. I believe it was a specialist police officer from Lincoln Vulnerable Persons Unit.
Yes, it was, and he was amazing. At first I was a bit reluctant because he was male, and obviously having my husband do what he did, I was very scared to talk and trust him. But he came across really sensitive and he was just open with me, which made me feel open with him. I did break down a lot of times and got confused. I got upset and he always reassured me with every single time, and he just went above and beyond. I can honestly say he was just amazing. He was there to help me no matter what, throughout everything, no matter how little or whatever he needed to do. He never pushed me. He let me take my time, and I did when I was comfortable, and I thank him for that.
And can I ask, did he update you regularly as to what was happening with the legal case and you understood the process?
Yes, I didn't understand until he explained it to me, and then my ISVA at Spring Lodge explained a lot of things for me, because obviously having never gone through anything like this ever before, it was all alien to me and I had no idea what I was doing or what day it was. With the help from them both and other people, I did eventually. They kind of kept me informed as we went along and told me what I needed to do and what was coming next. For example, when I had my video statement and they explained everything, and I could take my time and do it when it was comfortable for me to do so.
So with working with the 2 agencies, the police and Spring Lodge, did they work together or were they completely separate?
They did work together, and my ISVA was amazing because if there was anything I didn't understand, my ISVA would check and double check, and she always let me know what was going on.
You got a charge from the Crown Prosecution Service as your investigation was sent to them, and they did decide on charges. So it went to court, to trial. How was that for you?
Yes, I did, and it was very traumatic. It was very upsetting, but the best thing that helped me was I was allowed to go to the court beforehand, as I'd never been in the court ever, and I was absolutely terrified. I was allowed to go to the court and have a look around in the courtroom. I was allowed to stand in the witness box to see how it felt and be assured that on the day I could have screens, as I didn't want to see him. I didn't want my children, who would have been witnesses, to see him, so they were allowed to have screens too. I'll be honest, it was very scary, but it really helped me when the day came. I'm not saying it wasn't scary and traumatic, as it still was, but going before to have a look helped me so much.
I understand, and although I know it wasn't standard practice every time back then, you did have that chance to meet your prosecuting barrister beforehand. How was that for you?
Oh, that was amazing, because again, having never been in court, I had no idea what was going on until the procedure and everything was explained to me. To actually go and meet him and for him to talk to me and realise he is still human really assured me. He also helped me further in understanding what was going to happen in court. That was amazing, because again, if I hadn't have had that before, it would have just been so awful. It was distressing anyway, but comforted me to have already met my barrister, and he reassured that he knew the details of my case. It was also very helpful that I was allowed to look around the courtroom and see, with the special measures in effect, what it would look like, knowing that I would not have to see my perpetrator and that he would not be able to see me.
So as you said, this obviously is something you never wanted to go through, of course, but you made that decision, and it does at least sound like the legal process and support didn't let you down.
Just because you're in a long-time relationship doesn't mean that you shouldn't report it. Just because you've been married for 25 years, you wonder if people are going to believe you or not. But having these people from all these services, they reassure you that it is wrong and you are doing the right thing, that he needs to be charged and punished. So it doesn't matter how long you've been with a person, you need to be brave and strong. And I'm not saying it's easy, it's not. And it is traumatic and horrible. And I'll be honest, at times when I've thought, I can't do this, there are times I could have just said, no, I can't go through this, as it's upsetting, not just for me, but for my children. But something inside me said that with the help of these services, my ISFA and police officer, I thought, no, I have got to do it. They made it easier for me with help and support they gave me throughout the whole thing.
He pleaded not guilty, and so it went to trial, but then he was found guilty on all counts, and he was sentenced to 12 years, which was the right result. How did that make you feel?
Well, I suppose any type of crime, you still don't know if he's going to be found guilty, and I'm glad he was, and he got 12 years for it. But even if he got found not guilty, and as horrible and heartbreaking as it would have been, I still would not have regretted reporting him and going through the system. It just so happened that he was found guilty because of what he did, which was wrong on so many levels.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and I know that that's really sensitive and it is really helpful, and I know you're doing this for many reasons, and you've already given a lovely message to be brave and strong, but is there anything that you would like to give as another message to people out there?
It doesn't matter how old you are, and it doesn't matter who the other person is. It's wrong at the end of the day, and yes, it is traumatic, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I basically went through a couple of years of hell, up and down with my feelings, but at the end of the day, you need to report it. There are services out there, which I didn't know existed, but they are there to help you, and they have helped me beyond words. They definitely have changed my life. They are lifesavers. They really do support you through everything, and all I can say is you need to report this, because if you don't, they will keep doing it, and you are worth more than that. You are human beings, and you should never be subjected to any abuse at all.
That's a really heartfelt message. Sorry, you look like you wanted to say something else there.
I was just going to say, he did appeal, which was another heartbreaking thing, because you're then thinking, is he trying to appeal the sentencing? He tried to get the 12 years reduced, and that was another thing I had to deal with. But as justice has prevailed yet again and his case got thrown out, So he's still doing the 12 years, which he so rightly deserves.
That must be a relief for you. So you're now doing this chat with me, and you have come back to help this service as a lived experience volunteer. That's really nice and helpful of you. You didn't have to do that. So there's obviously something in you that made you want to do this.
Yes, I wanted to give something back. I mean, I can honestly say I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Spring Lodge, the courts and the police. They've all worked together and have done amazing, as it was such a horrible, traumatic crime. I just wanted to give something back, and if it actually helps one person out there by telling my story, then I just feel I've helped just a little bit. You are all worth it, and you shouldn't have to put up with the abuse in any way.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just thank you. Just thank you to all of you.